Hey everybody, it's Sharmel. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am here with a video on these boho knotless braids. They're super pretty, very lightweight, easy to maintain, and fall girl friendly. So let's get into this video.
As the sun shines on all of my glory, my flaws don't look so bad at all. What was I so afraid of?
So today's video is in collaboration with Eayon Hair Company, and they sent me over some of their bulk human hair for braiding. I got it in the loose wave texture, and they sent me 4 bundles of hair in 20 inches. But they also offer a variety of their bulk hair in different hair textures, curl patterns, and different colors. This is 100% human hair, so you can color it and do a bunch of different things to it. When it comes to boho braids, I am team human hair all the way. In my opinion, human hair renders the best results, and it also makes it a lot easier to maintain. The hair was super soft straight out of the packaging, no tangles, and I also prefer the bulk hair over like wefted hair because it ensures that the hair is going to be full from root to tip. So at first I was going to leave it in its natural color, but since this is human hair, I wanted to test the integrity of the hair. And also since it's fall, I wanted to do something more fall inspired. So I decided to lift the bundles. I'm going to be doing like a deep red burgundy color with a blonde highlight or skunk stripe. So I started by lifting one of the bundles just using bleaching powder and developer, and then for my other bundle, I'm gonna just use some leftover red products that I had left over in my stash because I typically go red around this time of year. So I know some of this is the L'Oreal High Color in red. And I also added some of this Adore in Burgundy Envy and Adore in Wild Cherry. I mixed that all in a bowl. I also added some developer to it, and then I went ahead and just applied it throughout the bundles. I let it process for about 45 minutes or so, then I washed the bundles and deep conditioned it. Overall, I feel like it took to the color fairly well, and the hair was still soft after processing, which is why again I love working with human hair, because if you need a custom color, you can absolutely get that. So I went ahead and started braiding my hair off camera. I'm going with a small size, and this is what it's looking like so far. I only braided down about 3 inches because I'm going to go back and feed in the curly pieces. This is the braiding hair that I'm using. It's from Shake and Go, the Freetress braid, and I got it in the color T530. So it's like an ombre color. It starts off as like a deep wine color, and then towards the end it gets to like a more cherry red kind of color. And then for my skunk stripe, I'm going to be using this Outre Expressions hair in the color M2730. I chose a blonde mix with 30 because 30 has a red undertone, and I felt like it would just flow better against the burgundy color. And then to smooth out my parts, I'm going to use this Black Castor Miracle pomade from African Pride. To be honest, I didn't film much of my braiding process because y'all, this was a bit of a struggle. I hadn't braided my hair in years because I had been locked for 3 years, and although I've braided other people's hair, I don't know, braiding my hair was more of a struggle than I expected it to. In the end, I think it came out nice, but y'all, the back in the middle was looking a little crazy. But I'm in the front now, so I'm like, I gotta show you guys something, because once I got to the front, it did start getting a little better. So I'm just parting and smoothing out my parts with that pomade that I showed you guys. And again, I went for a smaller size, so I use about this much hair per braid, but I do split those pieces. So in total, I fed in 4 pieces of hair, but I just split those 2 braids, those 2 sections of hair that you already seen. Now I'm doing knotless, so I start off my braid at the root, and then every 2 turns I feed in a piece, if that makes sense. Again, I was struggling, so this isn't really a tutorial for like knotless braids, but if you do want a more broken down tutorial, I have tons of braiding tutorials here on my channel. They are a little dated because again, I haven't braided my hair in 3+ years, but for the most part I still follow the same process. So yeah, check out my braids playlist. I will have it linked down below, but this is how the braid is coming out. Again, once I found my rhythm and flow, it got a lot easier, but I definitely was struggling initially. So for my skunk stripe, I only did, I believe, a total of 5 braids, and I did it over the space of like 2 rows. So you can see me doing the first 2 blonde braids here, and then in the next row, I believe I did 3 braids. So when it comes to blending and mixing colors, it's definitely preference, but I know for this style, I wanted the blonde, but I didn't want too much blonde in my hair. I literally, like I said, wanted a skunk stripe, just a little accent in the front, and I think 5 braids was the perfect amount. I think if I did any more, it might have been too much, but you can definitely like do a skunk stripe on either side, or do, you know, one skunk stripe in the front, maybe a skunk stripe in the back. You can definitely get creative and play around with it, but this is how I decided to do mine. And then once I finish my skunk stripe, I just go back and finish the rest of my braids with red. For the style, I used like exactly 2 packs of hair. So if you guys seen the hair in the beginning, it was the triple pack. So I used 2 packs of the triple pack of the red. And then for the blonde, obviously I didn't use all of the hair for that one, but for that mix that I wanted, they only had it in the triple pack. And so yeah, I barely used like a bundle of that blonde hair. And here is how the human hair looks after it's been colored and air dried. I think the color came out super pretty. The perfect red for fall. It's not too vibrant, it's definitely more subtle, but you can still tell that it's red. And the hair still maintained its waviness after being processed. So when it comes to feeding in the human hair, I like to use like a mixture of like small to medium size pieces like so. I know some people have an issue with like maintenance when it comes to like boho braids, so keep in mind that the more hair that you use for like the loose pieces, the more maintenance is going to require, the more that is going to be prone to tangling. Now this is human hair, so it shouldn't tangle as much, but anytime you're dealing with any kind of loose hair, obviously it's going to be prone to tangling because that's just the nature of hair. So when it comes to feeding in the human hair, I pretty much follow the same process as if I was feeding in like regular braiding hair. I add it in and secure it after 1 to 2 turns, and then I just pull that curly piece out and leave it out like so, and then just continue braiding. And then to finish off the braid and to seal it, once I get almost to the bottom, I feed in 2 pieces of the human hair. So I'll feed in 1 piece, braid it down 2 to 4 times, and then I'll add in the second piece of human hair and braid that in. And then I just continue to braid until I run out of synthetic hair, if that makes sense. So you guys can see like the synthetic hair is a little bit more red than the human hair. So I pretty much just braid until I no longer have any more of that red synthetic hair. And that typically seals the braids for me. I know some people like to use glue or they tie a knot. I've done those processes before too, but I do find that just braiding it all the way down as far as possible, that typically works for me, and I don't have any issues with unraveling or human pieces falling out, especially after I dip it. And for this part, you can definitely get creative. Like, I don't do the same amount of boho pieces for every braid. So on some of them, I did like 2 to 3 pieces and then, you know, the ends. And then on some of them, I may have only did 1 piece and then just do the ends. On some of them, I didn't do any boho pieces throughout and I just braided it in at the bottom. Like, again, get creative. And I feel like when you structure it this way, it just gives it even more of a boho look. It's less uniform and very effortless in my opinion. But honestly, it's your preference. Like, if you want to have boho pieces in the exact same spot on every braid, by all means, go ahead and do so. If you only want the curly ends, you can do that too. And y'all, the braiding hair that I used was 52 inches, and I didn't realize how long this hair was until I started braiding it down. So y'all, I was struggling to stay in frame. So I'm hoping you guys are following along and understanding what I'm doing. But yeah, this hair was long, y'all, so I was doing the best that I could. And on some of the braids, like, the braiding hair doesn't always get fed in all the way. So if you see any of those little pieces sticking out, you can just go ahead and snip them off. So here is how my hair looks after all of the braids are installed, and I used a little under 2 bundles of the human hair for this style. I think 2 bundles will be more than enough hair depending on your desired look. But now I'm just going to do like the finishing touches. So next I'm just going to start with my edges. I'm using the Style Factor Edge Booster. You guys should already know this is like the only edge control that I use on my edges, and I'm just swooping them to my desired liking. Next, I'm going to foam them down, and I'm using a styling foam from ORS, and I like to rake them all the way from the root all the way to the bottom. And then lastly, I'm going to dip the ends of my braids in boiling hot water. And this is really the advantage of using human hair for when you do boho braids. Because the base of these braids is done with synthetic hair typically requires you to dip them afterwards because it helps, again, seal the ends and stop it from unraveling. It also helps take away the bulkiness, and it makes it super lightweight. And when you use synthetic hair for like your boho pieces, when you dip it in boiling hot water, sometimes you run the risk of like messing up the curl pattern of synthetic hair. So when it comes to boho braids, I really prefer to use human hair because you can dip them just to make sure that your hair is sealed. You don't have to deal with any unraveling like I mentioned before, and the braids just come out better in my opinion when you dip them properly. But you definitely want to be careful when dipping it because again, this is boiling hot water. And this last part is optional, but I'm just going in with my diffuser blow dryer just to kind of speed up the drying process because I did have somewhere to go and I didn't want to leave the house with wet hair. But you can absolutely let them air dry, but I do like using a diffuser because it's also going to help just diffuse some of those curls and make them pop. Again, I'm using loose wave hair, so it's not going to be super curly, but using a diffuser does help with just defining the curls or waves for whatever type of curl pattern you have. But this is again optional, but honestly I prefer the wavy over curly because I just think it's easier to maintain. It looks just more effortless in my opinion, and I am loving the results of this hairstyle. But yeah, that was pretty much it for this hairstyle. Again, this hair is from Eayon Hair. It is their bulk human hair in loose wave, and I got mine in 20 inches. I will have all of their information linked down in the description box if you guys are interested in purchasing any of their hair. I would definitely recommend it. I love the results of my box braids. It was easy to work with. I could dye it. It's lightweight. Overall, I love this look. You guys, if you've been around for a while, you guys know I used to do box braids all the time, and then I was locked for 3 years. And while I was locked, I think the style that I missed the most was box braids. So I was so excited to braid my hair, and I'm just so happy that it turned out so cute. I'm definitely back in my box braid era because I am loving this style. Let me know what you guys think of this color combination and any other color combinations you guys think I should try. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out Eayon Hair, and make sure to follow me on all of my other social media platforms, and I will see you beautiful people in my next video. Bye.